Look, SVP, reality is coming.
That short, offhand remark from Diana Taurasi became the launching pad for one of the most heated debates women's basketball had ever seen. It was aimed squarely at a young, bold sensation named Caitlin Clark, a player whose college exploits drew audiences in record numbers and drew the ire of WNBA veterans who felt she hadn't yet paid her dues. From the moment those three words left Diana's mouth, fans on both sides braced themselves for a battle. Would Clark prove worthy of the hype in a league built on seasoned stars? Or would she crumble under pressure once she finally faced grown pros who had been dominating for years? No matter who you asked, there was never a boring take. Pessimists said she'd fail to adjust to the WNBA's speed and physicality. Optimists insisted she was a once-in-a-generation talent who would break the sport wide open. And all the while, millions of people followed along, curious to see if Taurasi's infamous warning would come true, or if the rookie sensation would prove to be the real deal. The truth is, Caitlin Clark's rise from high school phenom to collegiate superstar was always bound to spark debate. As soon as she started sinking mind-boggling three-pointers and dishing out double-digit assists at Iowa, she became a lightning rod for conversation. Her numbers soared, just like TV ratings whenever her team played. But as the spotlight beamed ever brighter, it also exposed the tension between the old guard and a new wave of fans who flocked to see Caitlin shoot from the logo.
Clark was trying to redirect a pass. Clark.
From an outsider's perspective, it made sense. The WNBA had long struggled for mainstream attention, so seeing all these cameras follow a college athlete felt like a slap in the face to those who had slogged through seasons in relative obscurity. Diana Taurasi, known for her unfiltered takes, wasn't alone in her skepticism. Some called Caitlin a media creation, insisting the real test wouldn't come until she suited up against the best in the world. Taurasi and her peers had every reason to wonder if Caitlin's stats were inflated by lesser competition. After all, Clark made it look easy at Iowa. Night after night, she erupted for 30 or 40 points, sank shots from near midcourt, and racked up triple-doubles as though they were routine. Critics claimed she was just catching college defenders off guard. Fans pointed to skyrocketing viewership numbers. Some games featuring Clark even outdrew NBA contests, and held her up as the herald of a new era. The hype storm raged hardest during March Madness. Caitlin put on a show so captivating that even people who never followed women's basketball found themselves glued to their screens. She hit clutch shot after clutch shot, carrying Iowa to places no one thought possible. That's when lines were drawn. Some fans insisted she was the future, a once-in-a-lifetime star who could shift public perception of the women's game. Others felt she was a flash in the pan, who'd be in for a harsh reality check the moment she went pro. A reality check that, according to Diana Taurasi, was coming faster than Caitlin realized. With just 3 words, Diana Taurasi ignited a war of sound bites. During a seemingly casual interview, she dropped the line, "Reality is coming," with a cool confidence that implied she'd seen many a young phenom fizzle out once they hit the WNBA grind. Naturally, Clark's fan base took offense. They'd watched her dismantle every challenge in college, and they believed she could carry that fire into any league.
Are they going to get the ball up in time? Clark for the win!
But from Taurasi's perspective, the hype around Clark felt inflated. Many legends, including Sue Bird and Cheryl Swoops, had spent years championing the women's game without ever drawing the kind of coverage Clark did as a mere college athlete. Sure, Caitlin's stats were eye-popping, but the WNBA is a different beast. Older players saw a physically tougher, faster game that might expose a few holes in Clark's skill set. Online, the debates raged. Was Taurasi throwing shade out of jealousy? Or was she simply speaking the truth about the gap between college and the pros? To the excitement of some and the dread of others, Caitlin arrived in the WNBA brimming with confidence. In the early weeks, there was no shortage of doubters pointing out her struggles. Defenders forced her into awkward spots. She took hits that might have been fouls in college but went uncalled in the pros. She looked, in fleeting moments, almost human. Then, the adaptation kicked in. Clark devoured game film, worked relentlessly with coaches, and seemed to get physically stronger by the day. By mid-season, the narrative flipped. She was dropping near triple-doubles, orchestrating her offense with poise, and hitting shots from distances that made highlight producers giddy. More importantly, she made the Indiana Fever, long ridiculed as a bottom feeder, look legit. Fans flooded social media with "I told you so" posts, tagging Taurasi in celebratory memes. While veterans still whispered about earning your stripes, numbers don't lie. By the end of her rookie year, Clark was near the top of the league in multiple categories, smashing rookie records with ease. Even the biggest skeptics had to admit she adjusted to the reality quicker than most. As Clark's stock soared, so did the drama. Rumors swirled that a few star players were resentful of the non-stop cameras following her. Talk shows hinted at friction in the Fever's locker room. Unfounded gossip that some insisted was rooted in jealousy. Speculation pointed to the older generation feeling overshadowed. After all, the WNBA's marketing machine suddenly revolved around Clark. Where was this energy for the league's established superstars? But the rumor mill couldn't spin forever without evidence, and when the Fever's front office brought in proven vets during the offseason, players with championship resumes who had other options on the table, it effectively silenced talk of a toxic environment. If the team atmosphere was truly poisonous, why would these veterans sign up? Little by little, it became clear. The jealousy narrative was largely media-driven. Clark's actual teammates described her as an unselfish leader, quick to credit everyone around her. Still, the biggest turning point in the public eye arrived during a live watch party featuring Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and Caitlin Clark herself. Fans tuned in by the millions, expecting tension or maybe even fireworks. After all, Taurasi's "reality is coming" line had hovered like a dark cloud for over a year. What they got instead was a surprisingly lighthearted exchange.
Oh,
Congrats on your retirement, Z.
Thank you.
And congrats.
Now, unfortunately, reality is coming to me now.
Taurasi playfully announced she was the one facing reality now, conceding that Clark's achievements had exceeded her initial expectations. It wasn't a grand apology, nor was it overly dramatic. But that simple shift in tone spoke volumes. If the league's most outspoken legend was ready to tip her cap, that meant the script had officially changed. The watch party moment rippled across social media. Fans who once felt protective of Clark now celebrated the newfound approval from a future Hall of Famer. More WNBA icons stepped forward to applaud Caitlin's game, praising her shooting range, court vision, and sheer competitive drive. Analysts switched from dissecting her potential flaws to analyzing whether she could become the face of the league. Meanwhile, the WNBA was quick to capitalize on the momentum. Networks lined up to broadcast Clark's games on national TV. Arenas where her team played began selling out, even in the preseason. Each new highlight package generated massive clicks. Suddenly, the entire conversation around "women's basketball can't draw an audience" looked outdated. The Caitlin effect was real, and every measure of fan engagement proved it. Even the older stars who once questioned her were coming around. Some admitted that their initial skepticism was rooted in frustration. Frustration that their own incredible journeys hadn't received a fraction of the attention Clark garnered. But as more eyes turned to the WNBA, the mood shifted. Caitlin wasn't stealing the spotlight, she was shining it on everyone. Following a groundbreaking rookie campaign, Caitlin wasted no time in the offseason. Reports popped up of her intense workout routines, focusing on increased strength and explosiveness. A viral photo of her flexing at an Iowa scrimmage set social media ablaze, with fans joking she was ready to bench press any defender who tried to rough her up. But behind the jokes lay a serious point. Clark understood the need for physical toughness in a league defined by grown veterans. As for the Indiana Fever, they've gone from a team that people laughed off to one that might be a dark horse contender. Adding heavy hitters like Dewana Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Sophie Cunningham signaled an aggressive bid to contend now, not years down the line. Stephanie White's coaching brought fresh energy to a franchise hungry for success. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark stands as the orchestrator, ready to merge her unstoppable scoring with the veterans' experience to push for a championship. In truth, the excitement around Clark has grown beyond the usual hype. Legends like Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller have publicly praised her game, admitting she might be the jolt the league has long awaited. That means bigger TV deals, more marquee matchups, and a renewed sense of possibility in women's basketball. In the end, Diana Taurasi wasn't wrong. Reality did come, but it came in the form of a young star who absorbed every elbow, battled every double team, and refused to wilt. She changed minds instead of letting the league break her spirit. Over one seismic rookie season, the conversation swung from, "She can't handle the WNBA," to, "Is she already a top 5 player?" Now, not only has Caitlin Clark proved she belongs among the best, she's the centerpiece of a new era. The old guard, once suspicious, has started to extend genuine respect. And the fans? They're more passionate than ever, showing up in record numbers, streaming games, and plastering social media with every step-back three she drains. Some still refuse to give her full credit, but that's the nature of a rising superstar. Criticism and skepticism will always trail behind greatness. And by all accounts, Caitlin Clark thrives on it. Each doubt fuels her next performance. Each eye roll from a veteran intensifies her drive. And each round of applause from a legend only strengthens her resolve to keep going. The reality is this: Caitlin Clark hasn't just arrived, she's reshaping women's basketball before our eyes. If Diana Taurasi's biggest doubt has turned into open respect, that's the clearest sign you need. The game has changed, and Caitlin Clark is leading the charge.